What is success? Because it's a state of being, because as soon as you say I'm successful, you probably start to fail. One thing about success, it's really hard to measure. Who is the most successful person in the room? Well, all depends on how you measure. It's often uneven. It's often quite unstable. You know, things can be going well, then something happens. And you can't freeze it. You're there, it's wonderful, and you move on. So one of the problems with success, it's both rational and emotional. Who do I compare myself to? You know, and a lot of the success books are sort of weird. They tell you to think through all the angles, you got to study it. We look at Malcolm Gladwell, it talks about 10,000 hours. If you're naturally strong, I'm not going to be a basketball player, it's quite clear, I don't jump, and particularly now. And you sort of get on this life path, sometimes call it a velvet-lined rut, and if you do it all your life, you're probably going to get better at it. So if you do that, that's what they tell you, nothing can go wrong. The other thing I found about success is when you talk to, I think, particularly many successful entrepreneurial fathers, their view of success is you fire the bullet and then you draw the circle around it. What I did is success. Now you should be just like me. Now this turns out to be reasonably hard. I think about my own career. You know, I started the entrepreneurship when nobody cared. Well, if my sons or daughters tried to do it, it wouldn't work. There is a different path, it's a different time. You know, we started one of the first hedge funds in the United States. I was involved in starting and managed for 10 years. Well, you know, now there are 2,600 hedge funds started each year and 2,500 going out of business. It's a very different game. And the other thing about it is it's really not the way that it works, because if you do that, you often leave out a few things like family, community, and as one guy said in our interviews, I'm now retired, it's time for me, I just don't know who me is. I've been so involved in doing what other people tell me to do. So life's reality is quite different. Life's reality is all about choices. We're standing at crossroads and we don't know what's over the horizon. Now success is a tough problem. The external measures and the internal measures aren't always the same. Sometimes we're rewarded for things we're not proud of, and sometimes we're proud of things we're not rewarded for. I think secondly, things change. As I said, the world changes. We have to deal with it. We teach about people, opportunity, deal in context, and the context really matters. And what's obvious is sometimes the obvious route to success leads to failure. There's another thing that I've observed, which often it hurts when others experience a success that could have been yours. And the satisfactions of each are different, and that's what I want to talk about a bit. Now, I think for most of our graduates at Harvard Business School, there are really three great fears in life. One is I won't be a success. Two, I will be a success, won't be enough, this famous Peggy Lee song. And I'll be a success, but I have to sell my soul. That somehow to be successful in the world's terms, I have to give up something that's really important to me. But this is one that I'll never forget. Success is getting what you want, and happiness is wanting what you get. And one of the most important pieces of advice I think I've given my kids is marry a happy person, because you're not going to change somebody who's unhappy into somebody who's happy. So figure out if they're happy or not.